Hey guys, Sean Bougie, surplusfundsriches.net. Couple of opening statements. One would be please use chat, not Q&A during this if you would. I know we always mention that, but it's always forgotten. So, and I do know that it's counterintuitive. It's a free interactive question and answer webinar, but please use the chat section instead of the Q&A section. In addition to that, if someone could let me know you can hear and see me okay, that would be great. I'm going to make this is to help us keep this from getting glitchy here. I'm going to make every chat private. So I'll announce your name when it comes through, but if you guys can let me know you can hear and see me okay, that would be great. And use the chat section. Also, there's a file download up there. Please download that, especially if you're new or you haven't joined up yet. That'll go over a breakdown of all the programs and a lot of information in there, guys. That'll give you a breakdown of all of the programs that you're looking at. And of course, also a way to come in and buy and start up with us. Couple real quick announcements, really cool stuff coming up on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, it's the same as our website, Surplus Funds Riches, all one word. That's the channel name on YouTube. Great idea to subscribe to that. We always have new content coming out and really cool stuff coming up. One of them was a prediction for this year, just so you guys know, it's very strong right now in surplus funds. And that's pushed by a number of things, including the pretty big uptick in unemployment. And I don't want anybody to lose their house. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying here. I'm just telling you what's going to come. So big uptick in unemployment. The numbers are also hiding the fact that we're losing a lot of full-time jobs. Part-time jobs are being added, but they're not actually being taken by Americans in many instances, U.S. citizens, I should say. Anyway, there's a lot going on, and that's covered in that video that actually launched, I believe, today. It's a boom or bust is the name of the video, but there's some other ones coming up next week. You're going to look. I keep looking at my notes. Sorry. Anyway, there's some other ones coming up too. Camille, congratulations. You got notice today that you should be getting a check very soon. Nice one. That happened to be, we've been getting a lot of stuff in with national surplus with payouts, but that happened to be the panning system. And I'm excited about that too. We did pick up, I announced this, I think before, but we did pick up a flip in North Carolina, in Woodland, North Carolina at 415 Spruce Street in Woodland. And have already had that. A lot of the major stuff down there were hoarders. Took weeks just to get all the stuff out of there with the guys, with a crew that does that, mostly for foreclosing, or rather mortgage companies that foreclose. So it's a clean out company. Also had the roof stabilized, the main roof stabilized. Thank God, not the hurricanes blowing through there. And then the yard, it's 2.1 acres, but the front we had cleared out. They had to take chainsaws for it. The guys hadn't touched the yard in 13 years. So there's a lot of work going on. We have a secondary roof over the garage, which we're not worried about as much, but I do want to stabilize that. And then I'm going to have somebody go in and get some of the dampness that had been in there out, as well as an exterminator, because we've got some issues in there that we need to take care of. Basically, you guys that follow me know that I typically don't fix and flip. But all I'm doing right now is stabilizing the structure and making it look a heck of a lot better, so that I can sell it to an investor cash in a matter of a couple of weeks once they can see it and they can see that blank slate with all the crap in it. Everybody says, yeah, they can see me okay. Cherie, Donna Wilson, Carrie Lynn, Rita, Margaret, Neil, and Jeff again put the YouTube channel up for you guys. That's a comment on there. You should be able to see that. And, questions are welcome. Guys, fire away. Any questions you got, that's great. I will say, as I'm waiting for those to come in, I will say, never wait on the webinars. You've got your support if you purchased our program, obviously. You have support built in. It's email-based through Jeff. That's my right-hand man, my business partner. And he typically gets back very quickly, usually within a business day. He has a little more time than that when he gets swamped, but usually within a business day. So there's no reason to ever wait on these webinars to ask questions. Priscilla says, yes. Dawn says, good evening. Hi, Dawn. Rochelle, it seems like a lot of competition when it comes to list. So I know Tax Sell List sells the same list to everyone. Your thoughts? Rochelle, I literally, one of the videos that I just published was best list to get. So let me kind of recoup that, because that's going to come, when I say published, it's set to come out here soon. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or early next week. I'd have to look at that. But as far as that goes, there's 4 main ways to get lists, and I'll rank them from worst to best right now. Okay. So let me go best to worst. The best is if you're using our panning system where you're creating your own list. There's about 20 states with mortgage overages where mortgages overages are created, and the foreclosing attorney also handles the disbursement of surplus funds, and they will not give a list to anyone. That's our panning program. We teach you how to estimate those in about 20 states with mortgage overages. That's the best list just because it's the least competitive and it's amazing to work. That's in our Diamond bundle. You can download the file, download and look at that. That's in our Diamond bundle only. That's a fantastic list to do because you're creating your own. But there's a lot of techniques. You're just not looking at opening bid and final sales price. There's things you need to know in order to come up with an accurate estimate of surplus funds. That's number one. Number two would be a requested list where you actually call the county, municipality, borough, parish, whatever the heck it is, and you get in touch with them. And of course, in our ebook, we give you scripts to use with that. And you ask for a copy of the list, either mortgage or tax overages. That's a big deal. You need to take the time to call, or sometimes email works as well. But that is fantastic. It's a great way to get a list that a lot of other people don't get simply because they're afraid. A lot of people think, I can't possibly call the county. I'll get in trouble. Oh my goodness, there's going to be an issue. There's a black helicopter flying over the county courthouse and I'm going to get arrested. Then I'm going to have to go buy Catcher in the Rye. Somebody will get that reference to Conspiracy Theory, the movie. Anyway, that's the second best one. And that one's extremely strong. The third is lists right online. My God, why buy a list? Get a list online from the county. Sometimes you got to muck around a little bit, guys. You got to look around a little bit on the websites to find the lists, but you can find a heck of a lot of them. I mean, those of you guys that are in the program, look at how many have been turned in. The majority of those have been from online lists, okay? And the fourth one would be list providers. And that's simply because what you brought up, which is, they're not just selling the list to you, they're selling it to 100 other people, okay? So obviously that list is going to be worked a little harder. Plus, you really need, I don't have a problem with you using a list provider if it's providing you a list, but you need to ask them a hard question. Hey, is this some kind of funky estimate? Because there's people that are kind of trying to do the panning estimate we do. There's even a VA out there that sells it, and they don't know what the heck they're doing in their crappy lists. Is this an estimated list, or is this from actual lists you've garnered from the county? That is your question to those guys, all right? I hope that answered your question. It probably should have. Bonnie, I can see you. Ashley, when is the best time of the month to acquire a list? Ashley, that's complete. Good question. No. Sorry, my dog is seeing a dog outside. Let me grab her. Sorry, guys. Come here. All right. Sorry, everybody. All right. So, Ashley, your question was, when is the best time of the month to acquire a list? That's all the time, frankly. Remember, there's 3,000 plus counties. It depends on when the county has it. You can actually look up on the counties. You can look up upcoming, in the tax side anyway, you can typically find upcoming tax sales for that particular county with a Google search, and you'll get an idea when the sales are taken. And it depends on the county on how quickly they post the list. So it depends on the county, and they can typically tell you that. Guys, again, don't be afraid to call them and talk to them, okay? Bonnie, what do I need to do with sheriff sales? I do not understand that question, Bonnie. You've got to get a list. You got to research the debt to make sure there wasn't additional debt against the property at the time of the sale. Use the register of deeds to do that. We have a 1-hour training on our surplusfundsriches.net website. That goes into that. It doesn't teach you as well, obviously, as our ebook, but man, that thing goes into a lot. And that'll give you a good starting point and a great idea of what you need to go through. If you purchase a program, reread the book because that's right in there. Rachel, I've noticed the starting bid in New Jersey on auction are all starting at, use a different, we're getting a lot turned in from New Jersey, Rachel, so you're using panning, obviously. Use a different system for that then, because other people are turning this in with no issues. So no, we have not noticed that. John says, hello. Jeff, Rachel, if starting bid is 100, it's not real. Yeah, we have info on working, exactly the same thing, on working NJ panning on the states chart download. Yeah, that's important to know. So right on your resources page, Rachel, connected to your ebook, there is an actual download on that you can look at. Hold on. We have info on working New Jersey panning. This is Jeff talking on the states chart download. States chart download. There's a chart on there on your resources page, on the panning resources page. Okay. So go there and check that out. That's going to really take you through. That has been fantastic so far. I'm amazed at how many's been turned in already with panning. Amazed. Rochelle says, so cute. Yeah. Pain in my butt. I thought I was an empty nester, and apparently I'm not. Brian, do we need to send in assignments for the loan when they transfer to another company? Brian, that's on your title worksheet. If you see that, it'll tell you what actually, now, granted, you're going to show that, right? There's a space for that on the title worksheet where it shows mortgages, and there's an area where you can say assigned, okay, to who, then when, all that. However, Jeff just answered that too. He says, no, on the worksheet, we ask for who has the loan now. But as far as turning in an actual, I'm not sure he answered that correctly or not. Do you want us to send in the assignments? Absolutely not. We just need the references so we know that you've done your work and we can check behind you. Basically, the title worksheet is just showing your work, guys, and the assorted documents that come with it that you need to send to us. Show us that you actually open up a registered deed site, check the debt, that type of thing. So it's important that you do the work and attest to it. But if this is a very important point. If it's not listed, we didn't ask for it. Please don't do it. Please don't. We're gonna actually print out these files. We do a hard copy and enter it into our system. So it's important you don't send in extra stuff. It doesn't get you a gold star. You know what I mean? So if it's not on the title worksheet actually lists what we need. If it's not on that list, don't send it, please. Good question. John, how do you find out in the civil case sites if the funds are still being held and no one has filed for it, especially if it's a trust foreclosure sale? I'm assuming you mean trust deed foreclosure sale. How do you find out in the civil case sites if the funds are still being held and no one has filed it? So, John, in most you can't. There's a couple of states, the Florida program, I believe you can look and see if a file's been, a claim has been made. There are some other states that have that in there. I'm going to let Jeff answer that. Yeah, Jeff again says we don't need the assignment. Henry, congratulations, Kelly, for that payout from a couple weeks back. I have some questions. I understand if they can't be answered due to proprietary information and intellectual quality. Fair enough, Henry. How many cases were submitted by this researcher until a client was signed under contract and a payout made? I wish you hadn't asked me that question. And it's not for the reason that you think. Kelly turned in one. She got lucky. She hit the lottery. Guys, it typically takes 20 to 25 before you start seeing anything working on anything. So I've paid out 3 on 5 submitted. I've paid out 1 for 1 on more than one occasion. But most cases, you got to be over 20 before you're going to start seeing anything easily. Okay. So I wish you hadn't asked that. We're not going to go into conversion rates because it varies from state to state. Some states are retirement states. So instead of 15% of the people being dead, meaning that's an extra obstacle for us having to open up probate in the states or in a state in some instances. States that aren't retirement states, you're looking at 15%. Is that number 15, 20? Retirement states like Florida, Arizona, you're looking at 30 to 40%, as much as that, depending on the county. Just happens that way. There's a lot of different variables. So I don't go into conversion rates at all. I avoid that, but I'll give you examples like that. I understand everybody's first client under contract in terms of timing differs. I remember during a live, some people, the first 3 cases submitted ended up with payouts. Nah, not normally. But like I said, yeah, 3 out of 5 one time I did that. That's not typical at all or normal. Others, after 22, a successful payout was paid. Sure. What states work better for the National Surplus Funds Program to get clients under contract and payouts made? There is no better state than others. There just isn't. Just work whatever list you get. Seriously, people get so hung up. I've got to know first what's going to be the best here or there, or how to best do this, and how to super filter it, and how to really maximize my opportunity to make money. Here's how you maximize your opportunity to make money. Work a lot of files. That's it. It's a numbers game. That's how you maximize you don't maximize opportunity by going, I'm going to avoid metro statistical areas because maybe it's a bigger area, more people working. I'm going to avoid this. I'm going to try to do that. Don't go down the rabbit hole. Just work everything you can work and turn it in. That's it. work more cases, get more money. If you look, apparently, Henry, you're on our system. You have access to our active files list, files that have been turned in and accepted already that we're working. Look at that list and see if you see some names over and over again. Okay, you're going to see Pete, you're going to see Yuri, you're going to see Serena, you're going to see Brad, you're going to see certain names on there. Why do I know those names off the top of my head? Because those are the guys getting paid because they're turning in a lot of files. That's the bottom line. All right. Yeah, this is, let's see, others after 22. Lastly, for every 100 cases submitted by a researcher, what is the average hit rate for clients under contract and payouts made to the national circuit? Again, I'm not going to get into it. I'm not, because it's all over the place in statistics. You know, there's an opportunity you could turn in 100, get nothing. Seriously, because it's statistics. And like I said, Kelly turned in 1 and got paid. We've had people turn in 5 and get paid on 3. I mean, it's just all over the board. Okay. But typically not even close to that. Super flukes. Is it? No, it's under that. I am also a fellow researcher since February. I currently have 25. That's great. That's kind of a magic number. Keep going, Henry. Keep going. We're in August. 6 months to turn in 25 cases. You need to step it up a little bit. Okay. All right. I got to get moving. Yep, John agrees with me. Jeff agrees with me. Most cases you cannot check case history. We cover in the ebook file example how to search online case history if it's a state that allows you to do that. Lisa, hi Sean. I had 2 responses. One said 50-page limit, and second said 2 to 30 pages. I was told not to send a mortgage if it's released. Hey Lisa, just send in what's on your title worksheet. Don't send in anything else. It'll list what documents we need. Yeah, and we only need the first couple of pages if it's a situation where you actually have to send a mortgage into us, a deed of trust or mortgage. It tells you first couple of pages. So, and yes, you should probably not be over 30 pages, you know, unless it's a really crazy file. Henry says, "Oh, no problem. I understand. No problem at all." Lisa, sorry, typo, should be 20, not 2. Yeah, okay. There's like 4 or 5 pages just with the worksheet and agreement, right? So it's not going to be 2. Brian, if an affidavit or heirship is filed shortly after the foreclosure sale, is it most likely that someone has already helped them recover the overage funds? Affidavit of heirship is filed shortly after the foreclosure sale. Is it most likely that someone is already helping them recover the overage funds? Not necessarily, Brian. I wouldn't make that assumption. Good question. Henry, I understand it's a marathon, not a sprint. You got it. Ashley, I'm new and learning the process. And Henry, I saw what you just said. That's right. You're dead on. Ashley, I'm new and learning the process. I've read the ebook. I've heard you say you give you 6 months to work the deal. Is it based on the redemption period? That's covered in the ebook, Ashley. It should tell you 6 months from what? It'll tell you from what day we're talking about. Oh, what's the next secret program coming, Rochelle? Probably announce that in November. And a lot of you guys are going to be excited about that. It's going to be a really good split. Not telling you till November, maybe even December before I tell you. It'll be launched January 1st. Lisa, if a mortgage was released, we do not need a copy of the mortgage. Only send in. This is Jeff talking to you, Lisa. If the mortgage was released, we do not need a copy of that mortgage. Only send in the release document. If the mortgage is open, also called unsatisfied, I'm adding this to Jeff's statement, unsatisfied, right? Not paid off. You don't see anything in there that says it was paid off. If it was open, in other words, only send in, and do surplus, I should say, send in the first 3 pages of the mortgage. Okay. Granted, you know, we're going to look at that. That's the conclusion. Some people muck up the conclusion. So the conclusion is what we look at to go, all right, there's 80 grand in surplus funds. I can't believe I'm bantering around that number, but our average has gone above 50 these days. It's unbelievable. But having said that, I cannot believe how little debt is in place at that time. But your job as a researcher is to make sure there isn't additional debt. But let's say there's 80 grand, like I mentioned earlier, in surplus funds, and there's a $30,000 HELOC loan. We got 50 to go after. That's a heck of a lot of money still left, right? But we've got to know what those numbers are. And I guess one of the things I'm really concerned about is people will start and they'll do well, but then they'll start messing up, and you realize the messing up they're doing on submitting files to us. They have no clue what their job is. Guys, the reason that we're partnering with people is you go get your own list. That's not hard. But then you're researching the debt. You're filtering those people for us. You're researching the debt to make sure that there was an additional debt that would have a priority claim to the overage in front of the owner. I'm amazed at how few people have figured that out. They think it's just we're making busy work for them. Obviously, there's a reason for this. We wouldn't make you do that, right? If we didn't need it. We need that information. Lisa says, thank you, Jeff. Somebody did a Q&A. I'm going to look at that real quick. Guys, use chat, not Q&A. Oh, my. Okay, you did. You actually came back because that's a repeat question. Thank you, Henry. All right. Very important point also, because people go, oh God, there's an open mortgage. It doesn't say it was satisfied. It doesn't say, this is Jeff talking. It doesn't say that it was taken care of or terminated or satisfied or anything else. So, oh my God, it's going to eat everything. Whoa, 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 whoa. Was it a mortgage foreclosure? And that mortgage that is still open was the foreclosing mortgage? Well, then it's satisfied. It was satisfied by the sale. Guys, this is one thing hey, that's what created the surplus, was the mortgage company was paid what they were due. Okay. If it was the same mortgage company on that deed of trust or mortgage, same bank, that same bank was the foreclosing entity and what's showing as an open mortgage, that's satisfied by the foreclosure. That's why in the title worksheet, it says there's a spot in there that goes foreclosing entity blank, which means yes or no. Because if it is, then we know it's satisfied. Jeff, I'm so glad you brought that up. I think a lot of people miss that. Like, oh man, it's too much debt. I can't work it. No, that debt was satisfied by the foreclosure. Okay. So, and they don't always release that later because the foreclosure is recorded in the court and people know the foreclosure happened and the bank got paid out. They're not worried about it, right? Let me make sure I got everything in Q&A. We've got about 8 minutes left, guys. So any and all questions you want to bang them out right now would be great. I will tell you, I would go to surplusfundsriches.net, click on the free training if you haven't started with us. There's an hour-long video that really goes into it a lot. I mean, gives you a really good overview of what to expect from working surplus funds. And there's also a guide in there, a written guide. Obviously, it's not as good as our training. And obviously, we're not going to partner with you unless you buy our training, our full training. I'm not going to work with somebody that doesn't know how to research this stuff. That'd be stupid. Plus, I charge for this. It's valuable information. Henry, Brian, when an IRS tax lien is recorded and is past the 10-year expiration time frame, if it hasn't been refiled, do we include that in the amount owed to the IRS? When an IRS tax lien is recorded and it is past the 10-year expiration time frame, if it hasn't been refiled, do we include that in the amount owed to the IRS? Jeff, I'm going to let you answer that. I'm going to let Jeff answer that because he handles the front line. He knows that better than I do. And I've got my own opinions about the IRS right now. Henry, also sometimes with older mortgages, the release is attached to the mortgage. Okay. Also, sometimes with older mortgages, the release is attached to the mortgage document itself and not a separate file. Normally the last page with the release information stamped. Actually, Henry, I've always seen that they'll reference it and cancel it, but I don't know what you've seen. And Brian says, no, it's gone. You don't have to turn in an IRS tax lien if it's past 10 years from when that lien went into force, Brian. That's what I thought he was going to say. Bonnie, is the money you pay me tax-free? No, Bonnie. Look, I'm going to send it. If you've got an LLC or a corporation or even a DBA, right? I'm going to send it to that company name and I'm not going to 1099 you because I'm not required to do so by the IRS. You are required to take that on and show that on your bottom line, okay? If I'm paying you directly, I'm 1099ing you, all right? So yes, you are getting taxed on that. Why do I do that? Why do I 1099 you? Because if I don't write off the expense of paying you your portion as a researcher, I got to pay taxes on it. I'm not doing that for you, buddy. So, Maria, hi, Sean. Can you tell me what this means? Napoli Investments SA. No. One thing I'll say, guys, and Maria, I'm not taking a shot at you. Okay, I know it's going to sound like I'm taking a shot at you. I'm not. Google is your friend. Okay, when you see something like that, SA, um, investment company with SA, what does this mean? Google something, especially now. Google's got artificial intelligence. They'll figure out what your question is and be able to find an answer for you. I have no idea what something investments SA would be. I just don't. It could be some sort of an account. I have seen before where people have actually used different types of retirement accounts to invest in property, and they will use the name of that. So it may be some type of an investment instrument, and that may be what SA stands for. That would be my best guess. Ashley, how often do you update the surplus funds being work list? Most of the time, occasionally this doesn't happen if we get super swamped for that particular day. Most of the time that's updated Monday through Friday, at least once a day. Now, that's important that you understand that, because, for instance, there can be a delay of stuff turned in over the weekend, okay, where it hits Monday. Mondays are a huge day for us. So there can be a delay of stuff because we're not working it Saturday and Sunday, right? And it's not updated Saturday and Sunday. So from Friday, when we update it, which is Friday morning, anything turned in through Friday morning is going to be updated on the list on Friday. From then through Monday morning, a lot can happen. That's when it's updated next. So that's when you're going to see sometimes some overlap, is when it was turned in over the weekend, and that happens. Cherie has an answer for you, Maria, on that SA. She says it is a Mexican equivalent of Inc. Incorporated. Cherie, I hope you're right. We kind of always trust everybody on here, but most people don't speak up about that unless they know. So hope that helped you, Maria. That's awesome. Yeah, Sean agreed with the SA. He didn't know it. Hopefully Cherie was right. Maria, duh, thank you. Sorry, I should have known to do that. We get that a lot. And Jeff's like, because, and here's why. Again, not making fun of anybody here, please. Please don't take it that way. The reason that we're both like, guys, Google is your friend, is because the time it took you to open a support ticket, type in your question, and send it, you would have had the answer from Google. You know what I mean? So stuff like that, it's a good idea to use Google, obviously. But we're here for you. I'm not saying, yeah, Google that when it's a specific question about a program. And Maria says, thank you. So that was about the SA. And Cherie, thank you for doing that. That's awesome. Guys, we're at 8:28. I'm going to assume, this is how Jeff and I communicate, I'm going to assume that pretty soon he's going to be shutting this down because we're about at the end. So I'm going to assume that's been done. The next one's going to be it's going to be a little bit till the next one. It should be listed, or it will be listed soon, on the webinars tab at surplusfundsriches.net. Be sure to sign up. Again, typically we don't actually throw that on there until a week or two prior, but just keep an eye on that webinars tab. And also, guys, let me tell you something. A lot of people that are here, they know the way to really figure out what's going on is they're checking our YouTube channel, Surplus Funds Riches, all one word, or they're checking our Facebook page, which is also under Surplus Funds Riches. And that's where we do the majority of our posting online. Obviously, we have a TikTok site and all that other stuff, but Facebook and YouTube are the go-tos for announcements. And that's important that you guys take a hard look at that. I am going to go ahead and announce this now. I'm hoping that by the end of September, I actually hired a pro to do it for me because we kept getting into snafus. We will have an app, and that will have proprietary information on it, specifically for people that just sign up for the app. That's going to be really exciting. And I think you guys are going to really enjoy that. And that'll be a better way, by the way, to get notifications, new programs, any changes we make, all that will be able to be notified. We're not going to use it to pound you with marketing stuff. It's just a great way to keep, hey, upcoming webinar. Hey, slight change to this program. That's on the page connected from the app. Okay. So when we launch that, it'd be a good idea for you guys to sign up. And yeah, Jeff's got it. surplusfundsriches.net/webinars is when you'll see the next one up on there. And I'll tell you right now. 22nd. Should have known that 2 weeks from tomorrow. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I very much appreciate everybody that came here this evening and for your input. And I hope everybody has a great week. Thanks. Take care.